With Sony's E3 showcase being Monday and Spider-Man PS4 being one of the headliners of Sony's E3 press conference, I've really wanted to break down Spider-Man PS4 gameplay from 2016, 2017, and 2018 and show you some really, really important things that I think are going to make this a Game of the Year contender for this year. Now, without further ado, my video game analysis on Spider-Man PS4.
Insomniac, perfect, this is amazing. QuickTime events, what's going on here?
Right off of the bat, I'm going to address QuickTime events in the game. So there have been a lot of rumors, there's been a lot of speculation that QuickTime events are going to be the core mechanics, the core focus of the gameplay. I have no idea how this has gotten to be the case with Spider-Man PS4. I don't know what gameplay people are looking at. I have no idea who started this speculation. It seems like people aren't doing proper homework on this game, especially when 2 years ago Insomniac had already debunked this theory.
They debunked that like 2 years ago.
And the Game Informer crew of journalists that had gone to Insomniac and had played the game for an undisclosed amount of hours, and they can tell you from one of their podcasts on Spider-Man PS4 that the game doesn't have as many QTs as people think.
Like, I mean, so they are in there. Yeah, but like very few.
Consistency matters more than intensity. Intensity is going to the dentist twice a year, as prescribed. And if you only did that, all your teeth will fall out. It's the little stuff. It's brushing your teeth every day for 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes in the evening. By itself, it does nothing. Nothing. It's the consistency. It's the repeat that makes our teeth healthy.
We've seen Spider-Man for the past 2 years perch on these specific platforms, and we've seen this kind of reticle that shows, hey, this is where you can probably web zip, or this is where you can perch. And if you don't know what perching is, it's this really, really fast animation, this fast movement that he does where he kind of jumps or web zips to this specific place, this sign, lamppost, etc. And for a split second, they sit him on top of this lamppost, this sign, whatever. But they also show that he has a release. He has a launch that he can do after he's perched, and it thrusts him through the air, allowing him to gain an incredible amount of momentum, as well as keeping his momentum that he used on the perch. So we're talking about all of these animations, and I want to show you something really quickly. It was a montage of the Game Informer gameplay that was shown off throughout April of this year. And there's this one scene where Spider-Man is web swinging along, and he kind of just goes through a pipe. Just goes through a pipe nonchalantly, and I recognized the animation because it was the exact same animation that they had used in the 2017 E3 gameplay trailer. It down to the teeth. I mean, just here's two still images of the same animation from 2 different years. The point that I'm trying to make throughout all of this is that whenever I'm looking at gameplay and analyzing gameplay, usually I can find inconsistencies with the animation from year to year. And yes, you can kind of argue, well, the parkour in 2016 isn't the same parkour as was in 2017. Fine, okay, whatever. But everything else I'm looking at, the combat, the web swinging, the animations that are used to connect certain things together, and just the amount of detail to some of the aspects of Spider-Man going into his costume, it's just extraordinary. So one of the things that has impressed me about Spider-Man PS4 throughout the entirety of its development time, that I've at least looked at when it comes to the gameplay, is how consistent the concepts are throughout the game. When we're talking about Insomniac as a developer, they're very, very great at developing and creating specific animations for specific games. You know, going into Ratchet and Clank, their most recent release, there is this gun that can pixelate enemies. And we're not just talking about, you know, the grunts, the minions, we're talking about major bosses that you can pixelate. There's also a weapon that's similar to a Boogie Bomb in Fortnite that can make any and all enemies dance. It shows the level of detail that Insomniac is going to go to get their weapons and their gadgets and their animations specifically correct. And we see this throughout Spider-Man PS4. I'm going to end this with this final piece of just gameplay that I've watched over and over and over again that has been both in this 2017 and 2018 gameplay trailers that we got, and it's the combat. I've never seen a Spider-Man game like this. I've never seen a Spider-Man game's combat like this. And I've played a lot of Spider-Man games. I've played Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I've played Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man the movie, Spider-Man Friend or Foe, Ultimate Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, I've played more Spider-Man games than I would like to admit. And I have never seen a Spider-Man look so agilic, so acrobatic, and so unique when it comes to his combat. If you look at the Batman Arkham series, Batman is Batman, but he's not necessarily just gonna walk up to a bunch of crooks and fight multiple crooks with multiple guns shooting at him. He doesn't have a spider sense. I get it, he's Batman, he can take them down from the shadows, but he doesn't have superpowers. His superpower is his money, and they highlighted that specifically in the Arkham series. They highlight Spider-Man has actual superpowers in this game by giving him that spider sense, by making him at Fisk Towers to combat and fight these guys with guns very, very easily, and he dispatches them as if they're nothing. And the difference in that aspect in Spider-Man's combat, when Insomniac easily could have put in a counter button, that's another thing. They don't have a counter button as it looks. Like, all they have is a spider sense, and you have the ability to do whatever you want with the spider sense. And that's what they've only done. They've given you the option to do what you want in that game. And I'm so happy with how this game has turned out. It looks great. It looks solid mechanically. It looks like it's a very, very polished video game. And it also looks, and I'm calling it now, without even playing the game, without even seeing a completed version of the game. Yes, I'm calling it now. I think this is going to be a huge Game of the Year contender to compete with, another PS4 exclusive in God of War, and also Red Dead Redemption 2. And yes, there will be a video about Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out very soon. Until then, this has been 24. I hope you have a fantastic evening, day, morning, and I'll see you next time.